Hi everyone, this is Mr. Moreau, and I'm here to review a few concepts with you about evolution, and I also want to teach you something new about evolution. So first, what have we talked about so far? We've talked about the evidence for evolution. What things do scientists use as their way of supporting their ideas of evolution? They use things like homologous structures, analogous structures, vestigial structures, also things like embryos, and DNA comparison, and also fossils. All of these are things that we've talked about so far of how scientists support their ideas of evolution. But here's our next question. How does evolution actually happen? How does it happen? Okay, so now it's time for me to talk a little bit to you about how evolution actually occurs. How do living things change over time? How do their traits or characteristics change from generation to generation? How do their traits change over time? That is what our concept is, or our idea that we're talking about today. And that is natural selection. Natural selection is the number one way that we can talk about where it teaches us how natural selection happens. So natural selection is all about this: survival of the fittest. That is the phrase that is most commonly paired with evolution, most commonly paired with natural selection. Survival of the fittest. That means whichever organisms have the traits that are most beneficial for survival or most helpful for survival. That means that those organisms will survive. Because they survive, they can reproduce. Because they reproduce, they will make more babies in the next generation that have those same beneficial or helpful traits. That means that those traits will become more common in the following or future generations. So again, it's basically all about the fact that how do these characteristics, how do these traits become more common over time? Well, how do new traits come about? New traits appear in the population because of either mutation or natural or random genetic or DNA differences from parents to offspring. You are not exactly like your parents, right? There are some differences between you and your parents. What caused those differences? It could either be mutation or it could be random, natural, genetic DNA changes from parent to offspring. That's how new traits or new changes come about or appear in the population. Well, let's talk about what occurs because of those changes, because of those differences between all of these different organisms. Excuse me, I'm going to give you an example of a common animal called the giraffe, a very tall animal. And I'm sorry my picture is not very great. I tried so hard. I know it's beautiful. I have 3 different giraffes in this picture, and you can see that they are trying to eat the leaves very high up on this tree. Now, I'm sure it's very easy for you to see that only one of these giraffes is going to survive. And which one is it? Of course, this one cannot reach high enough, so it's going to starve. It will not get enough food. This giraffe is going to die. This giraffe, again, too short. It will not survive, so this one will also die. Only this giraffe is the one that is able to get the leaves because it is tall enough. Why are there different heights for these giraffes? Why are they different? Well, some are born tall, some are born medium, and some are born short. There's no reason, it's random. But this one is not going to survive, it will die. This one is not going to survive, it will die. The tallest ones will be the ones that survive. So it was random which giraffe was tall, medium, or short. However, we can see that only the ones with the most beneficial or helpful traits will be the ones that survive. And that's why over time we see that more and more giraffes are tall because that is a helpful or beneficial trait. Okay, so at this time, I'd like you to now watch the video that I've posted to Schoology that gives you another example for how natural selection works. It shows you how a trait will change over time. and then you will be able to understand more about how evolution happens. So we've already learned about the evidence for evolution, but today is all about learning how evolution happens. And the number one reason that we're talking about today, natural selection, is the process. Teaches us how evolution will happen. And that's it for today. Great to see you all. Bye.